My name is Sven. I'm CEO and founder of myTaxi. I'm responsible inside of the company for sales and for marketing. Before we founded the company Intelligent Apps, I was doing my master's degree in Sydney, which was an awesome time. And before that, I did my bachelor degree in Hamburg and worked in the music industry, actually.
I'm Frank. I'm a serial entrepreneur of Europe, and we have a small seed fund where we invest in non-copycat and disruptive business model. And the moment we saw myTaxi, we directly fell in love because it's just a new way. It's very disruptive. It's an awesome team, and that's why we invested in also coaching the team. Well, first of all, passion. So we need to feel the love for the product. And beside all the money or whatever problems there might be, I really want to build that. Whatever it takes, I go straight ahead. And that's what the team really has. So that they love the product and they went very fast and very quick. And the second thing is technology. So when we see that something needs good software architecture and an awesome user experience, that's what we like to invest. And yeah, what we not do is copycat, because we feel it's very lame that you take an existing business model from the US, just copy it over to Germany and then only execute. And what we believe Europe needs are founders with own products, own ideas that establish maybe a new industry. And that's what we see with myTaxi, because they're basically changing the whole market. Absolutely. So if you look at the founders in Europe, and just money-wise, you have a look, Oliver Samba is definitely the most successful one. And if you look at guys like Lars Hinrichs or myself, we also have some success, but money-wise, definitely Oli is doing best. But I believe we have to think broader about it, because Europe needs big companies that have real technology, because the copycat is only a short-term success. But in the long run, and when I think about my son, where we will be in 20 years, we need established companies with a big vision, big technology, and have their own passion to build something.
Well, what we're doing is that we are creating a one-to-one contact between the taxi driver and the passenger. This is really important. Right now, there's a dispatch center between those both parties, and they take care that the parties find each other. So it's a peer-to-peer model, very disruptive, and and it's for the taxi industry. Well, first of all, we wanted to create a similar model, but for private people. Like I myself, I want to go back to the hotel, then I check on the map who else is going back to the hotel, and we can connect to each other. And then we found out that the model is too complicated, and we gathered some information about the taxi market, and we found out that there is some sort of a revolution needed, and this is what we're doing right now. Very good, very good. We started 1.5 years ago in Germany and in Hamburg, and we are now in 13 cities covering entire Germany basically. And we've just launched the product in Vienna 3 weeks ago. So this is our first international launch in our first international city. And now, so far, the focus has been on Germany, and now it's all about internationalization and going abroad.
But one thing from the investor perspective, you have the same business model in the US, and they came later. So myTaxi was really a first mover on a worldwide base. So they basically invented this category. But if you now look at the US, they got huge finance rounds, and they have no problem in raising money, because they're in the valley. Unfortunately, there is more money. People are more willing to take a risk. They like disruptive models, and they go bold in it. In Germany, myTaxi is very successful, and we're doing fine. But it is a big difference if you do something that bold in Europe and the US. It's unfortunately a little bit like day and night.
Well, it's more exciting, and it's fun to order a taxi. That's what it is. Because you can see on the Google map who is coming, you can see a picture, and you can see the profile of the taxi driver. You can see the way on the Google map how the taxi is approaching. You can see a countdown, so you have the exact time of the arrival of the taxi. That is very important. And from the taxi driver perspective, It is true the competition here in Hamburg, well, with regards to the dispatch center is pretty high, but also there is a huge disharmony inside of the market, if you know what I mean. The taxi business, they argue a lot with the dispatch center, and this is very good for myTaxi.
Absolutely, user experience is key. And even if you can get a taxi today by calling and you get a taxi in 1 minute, we believe it's the wrong way. It's old-fashioned. It just makes more sense to pull out your phone, hit a button, and then see the taxi coming to you, tracking where you are driving so that you really know the trip. So it just makes more sense. So even if we have a hot stand today, we will go for it because we believe in it. And user experience is very important. And beside technology, user experience is a key criteria for us to invest.
Yeah, very good question. The business model. Money, that's not an important thing. No. Okay. All right. It's very important. It's also a very good question. We charge the taxi driver per ride. Per ride, we get an amount of between 80 and 99 cents. And and that's a different pricing that we are doing compared to the dispatch centers, because the dispatch center you have to pay a certain amount at the beginning of the month, but you don't know how many tours you get. And in our case, our pricing is that only when the taxi driver takes a tour, then he has to pay for the ride. Well, in 3 years we will. Our vision is to be the biggest taxi market in the entire world. That's our vision, and so far it's looking good that we are that we will achieve our goal.
In 3 years, myTaxi will have changed the mobility industry in total. Like, how do people travel, get from A to B? And myTaxi will be a key part in changing the whole behavior and the experience about how people will do it on a worldwide level. So we just get started, and we have a pretty exciting roadmap ahead of us, and we're looking pretty positive in the future. My impression of this conference is that it's very, very well organized, and that the people are all very friendly. I've never seen this before in many conferences. The whole setup and scene and rooms are very beautiful, but on the other hand, I also see that it's an early stage. So when you look at the panel discussions, the speakers, the people visiting the conference, there's room for improvement. But I believe next year, with all the other positive things, it will improve a lot.
I feel very comfortable. I like it here. I like the people. I think it's very professional. Everything. I like this. It's very laid back and very friendly. What Frank already said. So I like the environment. I like it.